Hi, welcome to the ASUG News Studio. My name is Tom Wilgum. We are broadcasting live from ASUG Annual Conference and Sapphire Now 2015. Well, I'm really happy to have a couple people in from Verizon this afternoon to talk about test automation and how that really has accelerated Verizon's SAP project. So first to my right is Lauren Adelson. She's the Vice President of Financial Systems Operations from Verizon and also a Massachusetts native, so we like her already. Welcome to the studio, Lauren.
Thank you.
And to her right is Nick Germanata. He's the Director of Financial System Operations from Verizon. He's based out of Florida and he's doing the commute, so thank you for coming over.
Big 20 minutes.
That's right, big 20 minutes. So let's first talk about some of the SAP convergence projects at Verizon. And Lauren, we'll start with you. Why are these projects so important to Verizon?
Well, Verizon's grown over the years, and as you may know, we get involved in a lot of merger and acquisition activity, and over time we've come across multiple instances of various ERPs, including SAP, so it's really important to us from a standardization and finance transformation perspective to make sure that we are collapsing into standardized processes and really bringing the platforms together to gain greater efficiencies across our financial systems.
Right, and that's critical, right? As you said, as you grow and you want to continue to grow, that has to be front center.
We grow as a company, but budgets are always in consideration, so more systems means more people, division of labor, so collapsing, especially in the finance industry, the pieces together not only accelerates the closing of the books and the results, it also helps from a headcount perspective get synergies across the different organizations.
Absolutely, that's a great point. So Nick, for those kind of like me who don't know the ins and outs of automated testing, can you give us just kind of why these are critical to actually achieving success with these big projects?
Sure. One of the things that was really interesting to me when I started doing this was that the testing phases were the longest phases. You'd think that construction was, but it's really about test. So anything that you can do to shrink that cycle but not add risk to the project is really important. Test automation is key. It really allows us to do more with less. It allows the automation to drive the complex scenarios and allows the tester or the business SME to really focus on areas of complexity or where something broke after running the test automation.
Absolutely, and you must discover a lot of interesting things when you're going through this.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to do everything we can to break things, right, so that we're catching those things before the users do.
So you get to break things actually for your job.
It's actually kind of fun, yes. Yeah.
So what happens, Lauren, if you don't do adequate testing? What are some of the things that can kind of go wrong?
Well, besides general user frustration, I mean, we are a Fortune 20 organization. We are publicly held, so the financial integrity and the data integrity is critical to us. So not only just the performance of the system, but pitfalls in terms of rework, expense, overall user frustration, and other areas are big risks for us. And we have to be accurate when we're closing our books and reporting to the street. We have to be absolutely accurate and know that we can stand behind our data, and these systems run all of that income, revenue, everything comes through these systems, so we have to be absolutely sure that they're intact before we go live to make sure that Verizon withstands the test of time. Right,
absolutely, critical systems. So, obviously you're here, you've used WorkSoft. Can you talk a little bit about that, Nick? What do you see? Are there a lot of little benefits along this process, or is there big dramatic ones? What do you guys see?
So, what we found with WorkSoft and with test automation is that to allow the business user to create the test automation really drives adoption. Instead of taking a test case that was written by a user, handing it to somewhere else to build the automation, and then bringing it back, the user feels a sense of ownership and is therefore more likely to use the test automation and trust its results. The other place that's been very helpful is end-to-end or string scenario testing. So when you have a scenario, for example, procure to pay, right, where you're involving multiple groups, heretofore with manual testing, you're engaging this user to do step 1, 2, 3, then calling up this user to do 4, 5, then getting this user to do 6 and 7, and then coming back over here for a goods receipt, for example, and it really elongates the process because of those handoffs. With test automation, if you can string all those modules together, you're not having people wait on a testing bridge or having to try to call somebody and say, can you please do that piece? So you get a real time compression as well as an accuracy increase.
And that can make very happy users in the long run.
Yeah, well, it not only makes happy
bosses.
users, but
And
it
bosses.
makes right and bosses. It makes for happy project participants, right? Because they feel like their time is being spent in the areas that are most complex, and they're not spending their time running the same scenario over and over again with a little bit of a change in an input.
Yeah.
So they feel like they're more productive and their time is more productively used.
Right, and we are under pressure to make sure that we're doing these conversions only at particular times of the year, right? Not during the fourth quarter, not at a quarter close, not at a year-end close. So having automation and our ability to control more of our timeline actually helps us get more done quicker versus having to do 5 to 10 years of conversions. We can condense the total time frame and investment into much smaller time frames.
Absolutely. So Lauren, I'll give you the last word here. Do you think automation technology, this is going to be part of every SAP project going forward? Can you see that?
Absolutely. Part of what we're building and Nick's helping build is the baseline, right? You do the work once and then you build off of it and you keep it on the shelf, so as change requests come through or upgrades, you can pull these regression cases and progression cases off the shelf to help going forward. So we wouldn't have invested the time and energy to build the baseline if the plan wasn't to then use it, adapt it, and change it for every release we have going forward.
Absolutely, and that's going perfect way to end this. So thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate your time, your insight, and being ASUG members as well. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
For more customer stories, just like Verizon's here, please go to asugnews.com.